What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about some of the dumb statements that Rich Paul comes up with that he says, right? And the reason why I want to speak about these dumb statements is because I don't think that with everything that is on the line for LeBron James, that Rich Paul is really taking this situation serious. I think that this situation for LeBron James is about his legacy, right? It's about his legacy, his future, and his kids' future. If this next move for LeBron James don't work out, and I'm not talking about the Philly thing, like playing in Philadelphia. I think there's a bigger plan for LeBron James and going into ownership, right? And so I think that if this situation don't work out, then like LeBron could possibly lose everything. Like, like everything. This could affect his legacy. And so when you are in a situation that's as serious as LeBron James is, you want everybody on your team to take the situation serious. And so, in which I think LeBron James is taking this situation very serious, right? When LeBron James come to the podium and he's talking about he wants to live. That's how you know that this situation to LeBron James is weighing on him, and it's something that he's thinking about. When you see LeBron James have a face full of gray hairs, when LeBron James is usually somebody who every time you see him and he's in a locker room, he's brushing his hair, or this before he let himself go bald, or he shaved off all his hair, brushing his hair. He has the do-rag on and all that stuff. So he's somebody who really he really cares about how he look. But I just think that this situation that LeBron James is in, I think is very stressful for him. And like I said, when you have people in your camp who's not they don't see the gravity of the situation, or they're not taking it as serious as you are, then that kind of that can kind of be frustrating, right? And so when you have Rich Paul saying stuff like, and like I said, it can be LeBron can't be approving this, telling VJ Edgecombe to be the small pocket on the jeans, or calling for the trade of teammates and stuff like that. Stuff that he know is going to be polarizing, right? And so this last statement that I'm about to play, and I shout out to the basketball show because I heard this on there. This last statement that I'm about to play, man, I want to react to this, man, because I don't think that Rich Paul really see how serious this situation is for LeBron James. Then on top of that, it exposes and acknowledges like the fact that Rich Paul really is in over his head as far as knowing what to do, right? So let me play this audio, then I'm gonna come back with some of my input.
Athletes have the hardest job in the world. They take everybody to work with them. You at work. And nobody with you. You get what I'm saying? But they take everybody to work with them. Because of that, it's a very difficult thing to be a professional athlete. Not to mention, $100 million, really $50 million after taxes, right? Now you got to multiply that times your dependents, right? Then break it down from there. When an athlete makes money, everybody around them stop working. That don't make sense though. When the CEO of, Amazon gets, when that person got promoted to become CEO, I can guarantee you, nobody stopped working.
Imagine somebody saying,
all right. And another thing he said this about, I think, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He also said that coming from a two-parent household makes athletes selfish, right? when we have, we have always heard that, and that, well, everybody not only heard, but everybody knows that coming from a two-parent household in most situation is an advantage than a better advantage than somebody coming from a single parent household. And you can, you could attract that by looking at sports, entertainment, and business, right? In the real world, it's easy to track a statement like that because we see that now everyday lives. And so when he comes out, Rich Paul comes out and says that, being a professional athlete is the hardest job in the world. Like I said, it just makes me know that he's not really taking this situation serious, but because that can't be a serious statement. Most people would fight, scratch, and claw to be a professional athlete. And he brought up talking about $50 million and and after taxes, it's not really $50 million now, it's 25. All right, so now you have $25 million. You don't think that somebody, working a regular 9-to-5 job is going to switch places with somebody that's making $50 million a year? Not only switch places with them as far as salary, but switch places with them as far as how to handle their problems. You know what I mean? Like what comes with having $25 million. Right. So you have to learn how to tell people no, because people are going to ask for money. People going to, they're going to beg for this and they're going to beg for that. So most people would prefer to be in a position to tell to tell people no, for something unreasonable, than to be in a position that, whereas though they can't even help their family or their loved ones out, and so at least you can help them out within reason, in a reasonable way. But to be in a situation where, you can't help them out at all, and you may really want to help them out, like who wouldn't want to, be in that position with 25 or $50 million? And so, and another part that Rich Paul spoke about, as far as like taking your family to work with you, like the attention that you get from being a famous athlete. Now, I think that being a famous athlete, I just think that that's something that comes with it. I think a lot of people, most people probably get tired of the attention of being famous, being recognized everywhere you go. You want to be able to go to a restaurant with your family or go on vacation with your family, enjoy that time that y'all have without people, wanting autographs or wanting pictures and stuff like that. But that problem right there still don't compare to to being in a position where you don't have, or being in a position where you can't even afford to take your family out for a meal every once in a while, because money is tight. And for a lot of people, that's what it is, right? So when Rich Paul make these kind of statements, man, it just lets me know that, number one, he's not really thinking about what he's saying beforehand, before. I seriously doubt that they're having some type of like meetings, and everybody is brainstorming, and then Rich Paul come up, with these ideas, and LeBron be like, yeah, say that. I don't think it's happening like that. I just think that Rich Paul is out there winging it. And you could tell he out there winging it because he really couldn't finish the statement that he was making. You know what I mean? So he had to really kind of like switch it up. So yeah, in my opinion, man, this guy, Rich Paul, he is taking this situation very lightly. I think that because LeBron James is getting so much pushback on everything that he says, then he's getting pushed back on everything that Rich Paul says. It's he got to be strategic. I don't think that they're very strategic as a group of, as far as about like what information they put out there. I made a video a couple of days ago when I spoke about like how Michael Jordan and Tom Brady handle the media, and with them, less is more, right? They don't, they say and answer questions, without giving you a whole lot of information. You know, and Michael Jordan really don't really, you know, Michael Jordan is somebody who really is not really in public that much, you know, or don't really do a lot of interviews and stuff like that. So sometimes, you know, less is more. And that's something that Rich Paul have to understand. I think they oversaturating themselves. So that's my take. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.